but I don't care. Ugh. So it turns out that 14 or 15, I lost track of the platies, the baby platies. Oh, okay. There's like no real way to get this focused. Such is life. At least two different sizes of platies. Oh, and why am I being so bad? I know, I'm buffering on me. Um, my boyfriend's downloading something. That would make it go slow. Yeah, usually, and I'm, oh, it could be one of those days. Oh no. Yeah, maybe tank. At least I gave them a filter today. And it says I have one, 2 bars. Maybe it'll get better. Now it says I don't have any bars. That'll be fun tonight. I have some really cool questions. Yeah, it looks like I have pretty much one of everything kind of platy. I have a couple of high fins. Hey, Joseph, I'm a half an hour early, but okay, 20 minutes early. And wink in and out and buffer. I'm not sure why. See, and we all have, yeah, we we all have our fish pup. All my adult platies got sick, sort of 2 by 4 by 3. They all died, but as they were dying, I had at least 2 batches. So I now have no adults. Are you downloading? Crappy internet tonight. Um, so I have like 14 or 15 fry. I got a 10-gallon tank and And this, I almost felt weird doing it. I rinsed off the fry before I put them in. The sponge filter was seeded from something else. They hang on the back isn't in there for right now. I'm not sure why. I had nowhere else to hang it. And I had air running in it for like 4 days. Decided I should finally grab one of my sponge filters and throw it in. So they're probably happy. Finally, she decides to give us a filter. But they all seem to be sort of found it weird that dying fish had babies. And I'll probably change it later because they're kind of boring. Are some interesting colors. And I think I have 2 high fins, but it's hard to tell at this age. I mean, 3 days ago they were all white, and now they're starting to get their orange. So we'll see what they look like. Interesting. And so I was all ready to set a reader, which I had been using as a wrap tank. I washed it up, bleached, cleaned, sanitized, whatever, at the lack of silicone in the inside. The wrap in the inside. So it's got like, I don't know, an inch of water in it right now. I have to dump out the water, make sure it's all dry, and do a quick reseal because I'm not going to fill. So I figured I'd just do a quick reseal on the inside. I mean, I washed the gravel, everything's ready, but the cichlids are playing around with the extra sponge filters, so just get more seeded. It's not like they haven't been in there for a few months. And today I actually did 4 boxes. I threw out half of a 33-gallon, no, maybe a third of a garbage bag full of just weird stuff. No buffering. It's not allowed. Animals. Hey, Craig, how's the puppy? Okay. Adele was here. And she had video of my 14 or 15 platy babies. mm, good taste in food. And so I expect them to have good taste. I went through and found pictures of almost all my dates. It's like when I lived off grid, I don't think I took any pictures. I didn't have a phone. Had phones back then. No, they were too expensive. No camera. They grow fast. I almost forgot how big Danes were until my mom had it. And well, he weighs, let's see, Tucker weighs 89, I think he said. And yeah, he was like almost looking me straight in the face. I'll make me feel short. Wow, he is getting really big. Friend who breeds European Great Danes, and they're humongous. I've always liked small Danes. But I'm actually um, this next week for everything. Um, well, except for the rats and the bugs and the snakes, they don't need backgrounds. Maybe the bugs, but I have the long way, so backgrounds really don't make sense. But then all my tanks will have a background, well, at least ones that aren't painted on. And I may actually figure out what to my 5-star general and his your companion in, because I tried to get the algae off the inside of the tank. It's a really old tank. It's so scratched. Oh, these are platies. I have like between 8 and 10 platies, and they all got sick, and it took about 3 weeks for them all to die. And sort of in the middle of them dying, I had like 3 or 4 left. They had another batch of fry, and I now have no adults left. So I moved them out of the tank into a new tank, you know, um, sterilized everything except for the sponge filter because that was in another tank being seeded. It's been in there for months. But I even rinsed the fish off. But I mean, the adults I treated with general cure and paracleanse, just nothing worked. They just like died. But I have the fry, so it'll be interesting what they come out looking. Hey, yes, you guys, I know I'm buffering. I'm buffering. I'm sorry. It may be that people using my internet instead of 2. I may have to be from using internet on Monday night. Oh, they'd love that. My laws. On a second. Ah, rain. Why does my weather thing say I didn't even know it was raining? Well, maybe if I left my aquarium, find these things out. To my lunch and to Michael's to buy more art supplies. And don't leave, I'm still here. Being a dodo bird. I said, no. Okay. I turned off mine. I don't know if that'll help. No, it doesn't seem to be mattering. It's abandoning me. What happens when it's time for me to start in 5 minutes? Maybe it's buffering me because I'm not really here. I'm a figment of my imagination. There are no settings to change. Yes, plug it in directly. I can't do that. Oh, I'm alone. I'm alone. Echo, echo. Yeah, I fixed it. I fixed it. I think I fixed it. Um, this could have to die. The fish is almost swimming. God, there's such a lag time from StreamYards to YouTube. Oh, and I have such good questions for sticking with me. Um, the joys of living rurally. Oh yeah, you too can have high speed internet. But do they think I'm an idiot? Yes, they think I'm an idiot. Half the people up here, more than half the people up here don't have internet. They wouldn't know what to do with a computer if it ran into them. Say, come on, fish, go, fish, go. I did have an interesting combination of platies, so it really will be interesting to see what these. I had orange and white, almost koi type hyphen, had some sunsets, and I had a blue and a green, and one Mickey Mouse. Wow, duckweed. Well, maybe we'll come to life. No, rainy. I used to have two pineapple swordtails. I'm so much of a cichlid lover, though. I mean, the platies that I had to breed and trade to the local fish store, especially with the guppies, it's such a pain to catch them and, grab ready to be sold ones. I definitely have some guppies that I don't like. I can't remember what they are. I'd have to look. But the guy I got them from, I think it was just they were so that they became sort of long, thin pencils. And I don't at all. Although some of them, now that they're crossbreeding, I'm getting cool flame shaped tails. And they have like, and then white and then bluish black in the middle. Looks pretty cool. I'm going to try and get some pineapple swordtails. I think they're pretty. Which is funny because I used to like totally not like red, orange, yellow, well, yellow, red, and orange fish. Everybody's watching punchy paints. I'm gonna do some. I'm making the acrylic pour for backgrounds on some of my. Find a really cool background for the 150 gallons. It'll only be the top half of the painting, but I think it'll look really cool. They need an interesting background since there won't really be a patty going only because, well, I haven't buffered in a few minutes. I've bleeped out a few times. We're watching Fuzzy out of focus platy fry. Oh, and last time I went to the thrift store, they have this cool looking with a white top that it held media and stuff. Oh, well, thank you. I've just had interesting, but thank you very much. And this tape was like, I think it was and it looked like it might be missing a piece or two. It's about 9 by 9 by 9, although it's larger at the top, and it has this weird little pump thing. So I asked the local fish people what this is and what parts it's missing, and it turns out it's one of those stop buffering. It's one of those hydroponic tanks. So I just happen to have some basil. I think mint probably wouldn't be a good. I don't know if basil will either, but I'll put a couple of guppies in, and try growing some plants in it. I really wanted to enter the contest from, I think it's degenerate fishes. But I'm just so low on plants right now, except for duckweed. It's the 31st. Yeah, I'm solo. I think to playing warships. That's what I could do. Let's see. Sometimes I guess I just have to be all by. Okay, I'll survive. Well, my everything is so slow today, and it was fine. So I don't have a clue what's going on. There we go. Now it should be pinned. Yeah, look out for Leo. It's going to be, I have four subs. It's going to be Leo's channel for cop watching and auditing for disability. Um, but, well, okay, I talked to some people for the algorithm, but then I started thinking about it, and it would split what few subscribers I have. So shout outs are still going to go on this channel, and I actually have a playlist of adventures in Leo Land. Like, hey, hello, Sherry. Um, conversations. Interesting trips, food. Because Leo, I went to get Hatch green chilies 2 years ago, and why they always are more than happy to give you a sample. And so I gave a Leo, and the guy said, "Whoa, whoa, that chili's too hot for me to eat. Don't give it to him." Leo loves green chili. He loves spicy food. Okay, quit buffering. We're actually on the next on my list, but I guess I didn't do it for like, so I just sort of picked up where I left off. And you're welcome. I absolutely love plain Jane. She's just so cute when she eats. And wow, I wish I could have ponds like that. It's a doing the shout outs is really a great way to get to know somebody, sort of their environment, and it just it was shiny, smiley. That's how a lot of your videos and galaxy nebulas were the very first guppy I ever got. Of watching her go after the crickets. Ow, cute though. And she's so photogenic. Some of the poses that she does are just like, oh, and she says, I'm playing Jade. Can gecko. Nebula galaxies or galaxy nebulas, which ever, I always forget what she does. You have some beautiful fish in there. Oh, I'm going to be angry at my internet. Not that it'll do any good. It's fancy. It's like a lot of people miss out. They want all the fancy stuff. And sometimes it's who are the most sparkly and have the best personalities. So cool. I just have to remember I don't have. I have enough mouths to feed as it is. These guys actually I have right next to my desk, so I can feed them, 3 times and watch them change color. Watch the duckweed sink. So anyway, a fancy dinosaur. They kind of, so I had a Savannah monitor for a while, and it was like having a dinosaur. Oh, it's my chair moving. It's like, what's that moving? Dinosaurs are cool. I would have a dinosaur. I have some dinosaur stuff that I'm going to put in um, my. I might actually have to change the dinosaur. tank because of the background, but we'll see. I'll figure it out eventually. I mean, today, like, I feel like I could almost like move a bunch of stuff since I'm taking my mom out to lunch and shopping tomorrow. Urgh. I have to. No, I've always wanted dinosaurs. One of my favorite toys. Oh, I don't know. I think I got it when I was about 6. It is a copper Stegosaurus. Hey, June, we're buffering, but I'm um, but it's about 3 inches tall, and it's green. And that was way before Jurassic Park. Dinosaurs before Jurassic Park. There's a really cool book, and I don't know where mine is. It's called "How to Make Dinosaurs Out of Chicken Bones." And when you like have a chicken, you save your bones and dry them and stuff, and it tells you on certain ones how you have to carve them. Oh, I don't know anyone who doesn't want a wall. It would be so cool. I just about have that though. Entire room is aquariums. Well, and then we have a rat snake bug corner. There are some really cool starfish. If I ever got a reef tank, I think I'd get a few starfish because they're just so interesting to watch. I used to love going to their little feet. Iguana, and it was in a big outdoor cage, and the bottom 2 feet of the cage shit and rotten vegetables. It was by or 8 foot tall, 8 foot long, 4 feet wide. I went in there and it tried to hit me with its tail, and when I put my arm up, its tail my arm and then fell off. And I was thinking, oh crap. And the guy said, if you take it, I'll just give it to you. It was not friendly. But I had him for a long time before he died. I did make friends with him. And he grew that kind of a weird tail. And I still have a scar from that. Ooh, a reddish orange octopus. Octopus are so smart. There's, I don't know who it is, but they've done all kinds of musical experiments with like putting food in a box, seeing, watching the octopus, figure out, and they're really smart. Yeah, my iguana was really beautiful, but not really. And the guy didn't know how old he was. Well, I don't know, he's been back here. And I figure, 2 feet of crap, the outside enclosure. It's like, I sort of wondered what they winter in the snow, but I was afraid to ask. Now I just want things that I can handle. Fish, little snakes. Big fish are okay. Bigger than Oscars, but I mean, if I had enough space, I would. Ask. Oh, thanks, June. Yeah, I actually had fun making the videos, and um, probably next week, or well, hopefully this week, I'm going to put out a video on one of the fun things that makes me happy. Um, but I need master bathroom, 2 lights. Only one of them that I'm not climbing up on the countertop to replace the light bulb, so I have to get somebody else to do it. And I just have to remember, like to remind somebody else to do it. Yeah, I'm so glad she invited me, because it is that a lot more people have than admit. On the other hand, I don't like it when people use mental illness as sort of a cover-up excuse. I had a friend who, I don't know how to describe her. Anyway, we really were good friends, and good at holding a job or anything. Um, and she was like so popular. And then one day she comes bouncing in, and it's like, oh, now I know what's wrong with me. I'm bipolar problem my whole life. No wonder I don't function. Now I get to be on disability, and I don't have to. Okay, shouldn't you be happy maybe that you could maybe get medication or do there, learn how to handle your behavior and do better that way, not just like being so happy? No, I don't have either. And it's like, I'm bipolar. There's no way I could ever go to college. And I can't. It's like, I have a 98.8 GPA, and I'm bipolar. Where there's a will, there's a way. I mean, you may have, but if you really want it, you can achieve it. Because you need more help. Yeah, I don't have either. So I personally think it's a lousy. I never would have done anything or gotten anywhere. Not that I have. Okay, I haven't become world famous, popular, and rich, but that's my mother's dream. Um, every now and then she'll ask me, and it's like, you didn't go wrong. I'm not you. I don't care if I'm famous. I have someone who loves me, and I love them. And we're lucky Roundhouse isn't here. He'd go into that. Okay, well, we'll think about that. That challenges. Um, I mean, a bunch of continuing education, and I have a bunch of certifications and things like reading blood ammunition. Because when my daughter was taking criminal law and justice, and I was help, I'd edit her papers. She used to have all these fun, certification class things, and anybody can take them. So, like, I have all these certifications. It's interesting um, stuff, and it's funny because my daughter really is. She had really curly hair, and everybody used to say she looked like Shirley Temple. She's always been sort of sweet and innocent. Really great crime, sort of young adult crime novels. Some parents won't read them because how can a sweet little thing like Polly write books? One, they're not graphic. And it's like she took criminal law and just some of the things that are in some of the textbooks. It'd be rated X. My brother hasn't. Who hasn't published a novel yet? One of these days I'll get to it. Okay, put the buffering in my. See, like problem solving, great dreams on how to move the 150-gallon tank by myself. Although I'd have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff, packs and 2x6s and some dollies. Oh, let's see, when was it? Wasn't yesterday? I think it was the day before. My boyfriend came in and said, my mom gave me a like 2.5 foot tall night blooming cirrus, which wasn't doing real good because I'm not really, really good with plants. The dogs took the night blooming cirrus out of the pot, dragged it outside, shredded it. I should have known something was going on besides being outside giving, because all night long they kept waking me up. They got into a box and they got a bag of beads. They got material stuff. Just, I don't know. I think they ate peyote or The night blooming cereus is a hallucinogenic for dogs. Hey, Leo, tonight's Sunday, Monday. No. Thank you for dropping. We're talking about random things. And then I'm going to ask our questions. And one of them, this all started on my cop watch, actually. Sitting there filming. On the back of the fire truck, it says, stay back 43 feet. Why such a bizarre not stay back 350 feet or 340 feet? Because of the length of the ladder and a little bit of leeway to 43. Why don't you just make it 350 feet? And want to know why Albuquerque fire trucks say 343 feet. That's such a bizarre number. And I thought in questions like that we all need answered. Like, why is sandwich meat round and bread square, except for and here's tomatoes are actually a fruit. So is ketchup in reality? And we're dipping our French fries in smoothies? Don't, because science. Speaking of science, did Adam and Eve have belly buttons? Well, you guys will probably know we are, Leo. But yeah, I mean, it was huge letter. I just kept thinking, 343 feet? Because it's such, I mean, down. So I think actually I'm going to start, checking the back of fire trucks just out of curiosity. Here's another good one for science. If corn oil is made from corn and made from vegetables, where does baby oil come from? Baby. I am curious about. I think in the pictures, I remember Adam and Eve having belly buttons, and technically, now I have a friend who would be very upset with you fetuses. That's one reason she didn't want to get a vaccine, because found up babies. Is it a hostage situation if a person with several persons threatens to kill himself? That would be a good one for a hostage negotiator. That's actually really similar to a question that was on one of my daughters on hostage situations. Well, hello, misfit reptiles. I agree, because people with separate personalities really are different from people. Quit buffering. Rawr. The computer does absolutely nothing except maybe make me feel better. I'm just trying to tell it who is boss. Somebody's got to have like weird questions that bother them that don't really have answers. Why, like, why do I buffer in the radio? Well, because a lot of psychiatrists, especially years ago, didn't believe in it. It's just somebody acting out. But it's like my mom always swore that there was nothing. And at 72, a doctor at the Mayo Clinic diagnosed her with bipolar. She'd go off. She called me and spent an hour ranting and raving the psychiatrist to think that she's bipolar. She's a Renaissance woman. And yeah. It is an interesting complex. Bipolar is just boring. I think ADHD is much more interesting. Oh, so this one. What mythical creature would improve the world most if it is? Hey, Adele, call you away. Yeah, nobody's talking. Just I think I pinned the link at the top. Yes, I did. No, they're just listening to me ramble on. Oh, you guys who are in, like, I guess, Ohio, Illinois, Massachusetts, we'll just leave them. Fine. You guys have to watch out for and hammerhead worms. Those are the new species. The jumping worms, when I saw those, all I could think of was, man, I got to get some. It takes them over 20 minutes to, like, semi-die. And in the meantime, they, like, jump around and wiggle a lot. Of course, then I'd have to find somewhere to go fishing since I know that I could get to the water as close because of the fires. We began evacuations in the area today. All those poor fish and poor wildlife. But if it keeps being cooler and rainy, then maybe it'll go away. Denver really should have sent its snow down here. Okay, now that sounds like work. Pond renovation, a pond. One of the assisted living had a koi pond that was about 60 feet by 26.5 feet deep, and it was really cool. Now that I would love to go swimming with my fish. I almost wish it would be probably just make more fires with lightning. Yeah, you go swimming with fish when you go in the ocean or in a lake, and they don't even have filters. So your pond is rivers and lakes, and definitely cleaner than the ocean. Probably cleaner than this tank. It's like, where does all it can't all be fish poo? It's been in existence long enough. Some of it probably came. I know some of it is dead duck. You take a shower before you get in the pond. It's like I'll put lotion on and then like do something with the fish. So I'll go like wash my arms and hands real good. So I don't put like oily fish tank, and then I'm working on the fish tank. Then I get out and dry my hands off, and then it's like I should probably put lotion on, but then I'm just gonna have to go wash it off when I stick my hands back in the fish. Like wash my hands before I feed them, so there's not lotion, oil all over the fish food. I mean, they don't want to eat lotion. That's a dog's job. Yeah, just take a shower before you go in the pond. I always figured they wanted, when I was little, I thought that you had to take a shower before you went into it, so the chlorine could make you really clean. Oh, I'll tell you, I'm okay. Now here's a good one. I'm allergic to peanuts. Peanuts are not good for rats. Almost every single multi etc. rat food has peanuts. That's because everyone loves dogs. So then it shows up. And Great Danes are just lovable anyway. Never bothered to look at my analytics. But I'll just have to. It'll just make me sad and want a Great Dane. Everything else, they become so expensive. These Great Danes don't have a ton of problems. I listened to a vet the other day on Frenchies and pugs. Wow. I think mixed um, spotted stir-bought type Corys. I don't know. They were given to me. Oh, yeah, the yo-yo loaches school. I have 7 of them. Although I'm going to move temporarily to the guppy tank to eat snails. And Cooley Loach's school. No, hot water does open your pores more, doesn't it? Why do you steam your face? Or, excuse me, why do some people steam their faces to open their pores to wash them better? This buffering is going to drive me nuts. Oh, I have lots of tails. I'm sure I have a tail. That's why I'm already crazy, because I'm buffering. This is the first time well, at least that I have known about the rain. It's the weather's fault, never my fault. Maybe we're having sunspots or something. Maybe the asteroid is on Earth and create giant tsunamis when it crashes into the ocean. Population. Because let's see, 700,000 years ago it happened. Wiped out most of the population. I just don't understand. What's wrong? Yeah, it's got to be the weather. Just hasn't rained here for so long. Doesn't know what It's bringing all the particulates out of the air. Them. Maybe it'll actually drown the fires out. The only way I can catch fish is if I like partially, mostly drain the tanks and take. Then I can catch fish. Stories are really fast, and they seem to get through like the small. If you have just like space in between the fish net and the tank, the cories go right through it. Coolie loaches. Yo-yo loaches just jump over it. Let's see. This is actually with a different sponge on it. And I just tied it around the at the top around the air hose because the um, dog ate a few of the sponges. I also have super fine sponges, but I don't like them as much as the. And I would say, let's see, um, 3, 4, 5, 6. I probably have at least 10 co-op, 5 or 6 homemade, 5 or 6 hang on the backs, 4 canisters that I can't figure out how. Okay, 4 canisters that I can work. Um, and lots of bits and pieces. Oh, the other thing that I do is I have like plastic lids of all different sizes that are kind of bendable. I get all the fish on one side of them or start it at the very end and then just kind of move it over and over and over. They don't slip through the sides. And then you can sort of corral them in a even. That's how I have to catch the yo-yos. But this week, ferrets and yo-yos are going into their more permanent home. And then the Oscars go in their permanent home or semi-permanent home. And then as soon as hopefully the missionaries come on Wednesday, then I can put a tank. I just, after seeing on the back filters catch, I mean, I'm not conscious about cleaning out my sponge. I usually have 2, in the bigger tanks. I just think it's my water. um, but, I only do a couple of weeks. But hang on the back catch. I do have 3 power head sponge filters on my 3 and those I really like. I can tell when they need to be cleaned because they don't flow anymore. They have, they give a good power head. They have a nice circulation. And I like those. Yeah, they heavily stocked tanks. I like those. And I have, and I guess it's probably restarted. Everything was like at least 11 years old. A lot of them have dog fix them, but they're 11 years old, 15. They're almost 20, and it's sort of like not worth fixing them. Okay, we're back. We're having about, maybe I took too many buffered aspirin. That's it. Weather. Yeah, I have a couple of the pre-filters. Like the one in my gut's gonna like take out and clean it because it was, it had all kinds of stuff. Hey, Gene, you. It had all kinds of, leaves on algae, and I was gonna take it out and wash it really good. And it's like, no, don't do that. Look, your fish are all happy. So I actually probably should get more pre-filled to set up my sump, and I was constantly lots of ball valves or whatever they're called. I was still overflowing. Um, I'm really good at flow. One of these days, I'm going to go through my floor. Actually, one of these days, I'll save up the money and put really good. Since I've decided just about the world is made of pressboard. I think I only have one stand that I'm that's not real wood, and it's a bow front. And there's been somebody locally asking if anybody has a bow front tanks, and it's like I do, but it's 2.5 hours. A new predator and prey pet store, which has fish and reptiles and bugs and stuff. And they're supposed to have some. They're supposed to have some really cool wood. Um, wow, like I don't think I've ever looked for quartz. I could just sew it together and tie it at the top. What I'd like to find is some good pinky. Oh, when I went to pick up the 36-gallon boat front from best friend, we took the tank off of it, and the whole stand was wrong, and the canister had been leaking and basically melted the back of the particle board. And it was like, oh, I like my concrete blocks. It may not look the best because I never take the time to finish them, but they don't melt. Well, because look, Chinese stand or this beautiful wood grain stand. Doesn't it look nice? Looks nice until it melts. That's actually what caused my 60-gallon to tip over. Was the bottom had been long enough that it finally just caved in, and the weight just kind of it just tipped over, and there was nothing I could do. Yeah, no more particle board. And it's funny, I do have when I get 2x4s or 4x4s to make sure that they're really straight. It was horrible, Ian. I was like sitting there and I watched it start to tip, and I stood up, and it was only like 2 feet away from me. But there was no, and it landed on my bed, and all the fish sloshed out. It broke, which made a little bit of the water shocking. Um, and I yelled, and my boyfriend is like, "They're slimy," except when he grabbed up the Poeseewi and he's holding it up, going, "Oh, put it in that tank." I mean, we're just like throwing fish at tanks. And I lost a bunch of fry because I dumped them in the bucket with the bigger fish. But had one die. One fish died, which was pretty amazing considering the floor. They went under the door into the closet. They were under my bed. It was just, I mean, the fish had more fur than the dog. When they went under the bed. It was an adventure, but my tank didn't break it. Thank God for memory foam. Yeah, but see, as you're feeding your jarred betas, you can check and see how their color is changing. Because the beta I bought at Dallas changing colors again, and it's probably because I jumped into his neighboring beta tank, and as I was walking past, I always look at the fish, and in the same container, and they're flaring at each other, and it's like there, reached my hand in, grabbed it, and put it back on his side. Metal stands make me nervous only because I had a metal rack, but it didn't have, it had the 90-degree angle metal on the bottom of it, which is probably why it went to the floor. Yeah, see my the platy fry are doing, because 4 days ago they were all white. Last 4 days, some are getting orange, some are getting black on them. The one maybe will either turn green, blue, or maybe become down. But it's really cool watching them change color, just like watching my cichlid fry. I had white ones, yellow ones, and striped ones. And ones are becoming very awesome OBs. So it's like they're right across from the toilet. So I probably spend it's really necessary because I'm examining all the baby fish. Yeah, I bent heavy duty rack. I just hammered it out, and it's not a bracket. But it was like an eighth of an inch thick, and I bolted, to give it extra support because I'm using all the racks for my mom's paintings, which definitely aren't as heavy. Yeah, well, for the 150 gallon, I'm using 4x4s. Took me forever to pick them out. I mean, I went through a whole stack. Well, half a stack. It's got chips in it. Not straight on this side. Nope, don't like that one. Nope, nope, nope. I'm making sure that one only place it'll go is on my head if it falls, like my headboard. Oh, that'd be nice. I've seen racks like that. Well, when I win the lottery, okay, I have to play it to win it. Skip that idea. I always used to say my money, except I'm living in it, which I can't complain about. I mean, all I have to worry about is taxes and insurance. If I had to pay rent, oh yeah. Well, it took me. Well, I moved back in here about four. It took me 3 years to figure out that wow, it's my house. If I wanted a tank in the living room, I could actually. And right now, I have two temporary tanks in the living room while I'm moving stuff around. I want my fish back, but hopefully that'll happen this. So I can't even imagine having 50 tanks. Okay, 20 years ago, yeah. I mean, I still have the rats up high. I had a fatality. A dog killed a rat. She has the really high prey drive. Once the 150 and a 65 and the 36 bow front, I'm not moving any more tanks. Slowing down, and I keep trying to cut down, and it doesn't. I think I love my fish too much because I mean it's not. Okay, be careful, Ian. Stay safe. Um, like I set up the 40 breeder so I can take the 2 female haps and one of the 7 male haps and put them in a tank together. But on the other hand, maybe I'll just put OBs in it. Picking out the OB fry so I can have a tank of OBs. But if I have a tank of OBs, I'd like to get like yellow OBs and sky blue OBs. Because fish are relaxing. I mean, even when you're cleaning stuff and watering them, I love vacuuming my Oscar tank and my African cichlid tank because they rub on me. And it's like, oh, they're telling me that, okay, they're just finding out if I'm edible or not. But I can think that they love me. They love the fact that I feed them. Yeah, yeah, it's one of my favorite fish. 2 of the OBs are starting to get like really orange. Um, One's more orange and blue right now because I don't know, they're probably 3/4 of an inch long. Their stripes are starting to break up. So it'll be interesting. Well, they also know that until the beginning of the month, they're going to go a week without their shrimp snacks after I clean. I think the African cichlids, because they really do. I mean, my, and the plecos and stuff, they don't care. And the bristlenose, sulfur crests are pretty too. I just mutts. I have some manganos, one golden mambuna, so my manganos must have golden mambuna in them. I have some dragon bloods and some yellow labs. Then I have the polar blue tank. Ooh, that sounds cool. Yeah, when I first made plans to get back in, I had this whole nice list of what I wanted to get. And with a limited income, I'm sort of, and I won a couple fish. And I got dragon like really pale and white. And I got a red top TW something Poeseewi. Oh, and the black with the white tail Icy. It's ACEI. And it bred with the Mangano. And I have like super, super, almost totally black Manganos. I only have a couple of them. Oh, I got my dream fish, and they had calamine, and they croaked after they were healthy. Well, they just couldn't take after they recovered. So it was like, no more dream fish. Yeah, well, I like the Mabunas because I have fun building their caves out of flagstone, and I really wanted to go get more because it's really local to me. Only the forest is closed, so I'll have to do it with what I have. But instead of 60 gallons, I have 150 gallons I can make caves in. And I need a chainsaw, a couple of really cool pieces of driftwood that I want to put in. So cool to watch them caves. And well, the last good take that good setup I had like egg-sized rocks so that all the bigger fish couldn't, and then caves on top, and that worked really well. Oh yeah, it's great. You start feeding, and they all come to eat. It's like, oh my goodness, where did all these fish come from? That's always when I see it. It's when you start feeding. Little bitty fish coming out from the little crevices. But I was actually not that. I was kind of sad because right now nobody seems to be breeding cichlid holding, but I'm not going to pull her out of the tank. And there's nothing in there for them to hide in because it's a temporary tank. And I thought with all this moving around and stuff I'm doing, it's probably better that I worry about when moving the tank. I mean, all my are set up with nets so I don't suck up any babies, the guppies. Because those fry, I whoop up the tube and they're gone. And drowning, I guess they drown when they don't have air. So it's an awful way to go. But yeah, that my fish room is coming out, even though it's totally different than when I started having to be moved where the dog can't get them. I mean, she just like so mad at that dog yesterday when she killed my rat. But then I had to realize that she's a prey drive, and she's the whole reason I had to move them in the first place. Getting any coffee, Boogie. 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 Okay, I lied. He absolutely loves coffee. Okay, that he really likes it. He has spilled more coffee keyboards. Ah, spoiled. But yeah, I really like my African cichlids. I think very favorite fish is my eye biter. I had a pair of them, but I lost my female. But I just like the shape. And I'm going to go another 15 minutes, guy, before I throw my computer through the window. Actually, that's kind of funny because not that I ever open my curtains. I have a beautiful view out there, and this house, I had a barn, and it was about 30 feet away from my window, and it was a really, 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 hey, watch, it was a really, really windy day, and I got it, and I heard a crash, and I looked over at my desk. The 4x8 sheet of plywood had crashed into my window, which luckily I have like double, or well, the house used to have double. Ah, cool. I will, Craig, for sure. I want to see the OPs. And extra bar for the second set of windows. That 4x8 sheet of plywood would have come into my desk, and my chair and everything was covered with glass. And I was excited. I was thirsty at that moment. It's like, now I know where to build them. And where my dogs are, I wanted to put up a solid fence, but it's perpendicular to the wind. So when I did put up a fence, just blew it right down. Um, all that work. And then I have 180 feet of missing fence. It's like steel fences. But now the problem we have is by the slumlord of the area, and he told his renter water. So we have a lock on our water. And now they're using our garbage. Oh, yeah, he's lucky it didn't. I have a couple of really old, super thick glass tanks, and my service dog used to like scratch on them, and I was always house so he wouldn't break them. I've broken a few tanks. Quit your buffering. Dogs can be a pain, but I wouldn't live without them. Guy keeps getting like more and more orange in the back half. Oh yeah, just to break them when they're full. I had a really nice 65 gallon by four, fell into it and cracked it. Tell you, it's work. I got it really dry. Quick, slap the flex seal on. The floor was wet. The tank was down. That was the end of the tank. But I have. Oh, I love it. Danes are the best for when they do something wrong. It's like one of my Danes ran into the spaghetti pot and took a big chunk of spaghetti. Just as I walked in the kitchen, spaghetti noodles like coming out of his mouth. His nose was all covered with, and it's like, hi. And he's like trying to smile, and it's like, because he looks so funny with like all the spaghetti hanging out of his mouth. And I was like, well, just mix the spaghetti in with the dog food. And it's like, I don't know, because my brothers sometimes, most of the time, put in the pan on the stove. And it's like in the middle of the night, oh, four tanks in one day. I did put my foot through a tank though. Luckily, believe I did not get scratched or. Yeah, I have a pile of, and I keep swearing I'm going to take them apart and use. Oh, going to use the glass, and I think I'm actually going to attempt with a 10-gallon and the screen top. I'm going to work on a breathable rat cage. Although I like the tanks because they don't get bedding all over. Dragging the vacuum in and around. Shop back to get the water out of the carpet, which most of the carpet. I mean, I'm not moving tons of tanks just to remove carpet. I just can't do it anymore. It's cool to watch. Yeah, see, my partner walks in my room, looks around. You know, when you said you were getting fish, I was thinking like fish bowl with a goldfish swimming around. I wasn't thinking an aquarium. So yeah, if you're going big would be sealing my base, except it's only 4 feet high. My parents actually saw a foundation like that, so there was easy access to all the pipes and stuff. And it's a great storage, except it floods. It's supposed to be flood proof. So we have just a few things down there, but everything's up on pallets. I have a fish room, but I just need another 10 feet. There's enough. There's only one area where you have to go underneath and over a PVC pipe. But a good except for the block wall, the blocks that hold up the steel pipes. It's pretty nice under there. Nice cement floor, block wall. I could live underground. And they're going, it's time for dinner. It's time. There really are like 15 in there. Looks like they're all hanging. It's because mom puts the food in next to the bubbles because that's where there is no. And it's duckweed night. We're going to give it to the cichlids who absolutely love it. It took me like about a year to start. And I understand why people don't like it, but just the bristlenose and plecos like it. Everybody, well, the guppies and platies and Daniels don't eat it, but all the cichlids like it. It's good vegetables. And it doesn't cost anything, which makes it even better. And it grows like crazy. So with a lot of cichlids, that's good. Nice fresh vegetables, besides just zucchini. I don't like feeding cucumber because it's really messy. It really makes the water yucky looking. And it gets really slow. So I want to thank everybody for coming and putting up with my buffering. So it buffers for me. And hopefully next Monday, 1,000,000 degrees. Oh no, I don't want 1,000,000 degrees. I hate heat, but it won't buffer next week. And what can I say? It's just YouTube. Ooh, Ooh, fighting. Shame on you, fish. Not that they'll listen to me. And I'll drop in Craig so I can see some of your peacocks. I don't want to thank everybody for coming. And I don't know what else to say. Other than I'm going to shoot the H wouldn't work. Wow, that was a long buffer. Okay, guys, thank you for coming. And I will see you guys all. Well, I'm sure I'll see most of you during the week. And stay